On October 3rd, 1981, the H-Block hunger strike ended. In a nightly statement released by the prisoners, they pointed out that despite the electoral successes, the hundreds of thousands at hunger strikers' funerals, despite massive and unprecedented displays of community support and solidarity, the British government had adhered rigidly to the policy that might is right, and that nothing had really changed since the fall of Stormont or from the inception of the state. Others equally criticised were the Catholic Church hierarchy, who had opposed the hunger strike, though offering no alternative course of action. Their stance was described by the prisoners as immoral and misleading. The southern parties of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and Labour, who had sat idly by, thus encouraging the British to continue with their death policy, were accused of being accessories to the legalised murder of 10 true and committed Irishmen. The SDLP, who had consistently refused to withdraw from the council chambers in protest at the British intransigence, had, the prisoners said, been recognised for what they are, and an amalgamation of middle-class revenues, void of principle, direction and courage. The statement went on to thank those who had stood by them and done so much for them, and vowed that the struggle to win their outstanding demands would be pursued with the same resolution as before.
That struggle took on a new dynamic. Having won the right to wear our own clothes gave us greater freedom of movement. New structures were formed. Petty restrictions were combated and broken down. Political debate in classes thrived, and a strategy for the attainment of outstanding demands quickly formulated. Within a year, segregation from loyalists and non-political offenders was achieved. In less than 2 years from the ending of the hunger strike, from the time that Thatcher boasted the IRA had played its last card, Republican prisoners in the most dramatic manner once again displayed their ingenuity, resourcefulness, unity of purpose and sheer audacity. H-Block 7, in the centre of the most heavily guarded jail complex in Europe, was for over 2.5 hours fully under the control of the Irish Republican Army. An escape which ranks as the most successful and daring in the history of British penal institutions was underway. The struggle goes on.
Sin é adianta?
Muito louco.
Wait, it's legit. I've aged about 2 years, 2 hours.
Zo zijn het vroeger. Hoe ben je het hoor?
We call them skirts over and I'm
Still down here in the day, I guess.
So I split the trees.
Hardly here still there we have no flying helicopters coming.
That's it.
No problem.
Well, that was Dunfield. What do you reckon? Any comments on it?
I don't know. I was sitting back there with the luxury of being able to listen to all the music while you were working away, and I was just sitting looking at everybody in the room, and like there's a bit of history about it because we've got the like of Tomboy, who's good mates with Bobby Sands, was in the cage with him and in the blanket. Beck took over as comfort for Bobby. Lonnie, you were on the hunger strike. The rest of us were on the blanket one night.
Yeah, Johnny come lately.
Snooze came in around about the time of the hunger strikes, and don't want to be dramatic, but there is a bit of history even sitting in this room, and there's all that connection right back to the cages, right through the blanket, the hunger strikes, right up to the present day, and it just struck me that it's pretty significant.
Yourself, Leonard?
Well, I thought Freedom wasn't going to finish.
Morris Grant.
It's really opposite to myself, because I'm a man of few words, I just really know. What I really got out of it was, I thought there was a sense of achievement, with us here being, well, the way we're incarcerated in here, being able to turn out the tape. Probably it isn't as professional as people on the outside here, especially people who's into music, would like to see. But the type of tape that we're into making here, it really isn't till really highlight music in a big way. It's really to portray a message and to let people know where, but even though we're in here, we're held in captivity, but we still see ourselves as political activists, and hopefully this tape will go in a way to prove that. I also see it as an extension of our progress in here throughout the years, where we're not going to sit back and accept our lot. I see it as just an extension of the likes of the publications, the jail publications that we've recently released, the Gurgofa. So really, all in all, I think it's come out soon.
Were you Tomboy?
Well, I look back with what Freedom was here. It had the whole history, and we're talking about playing music here, and it's a great pleasure for me to play the music, but it brings back a lot of memories of myself and Bobby. That he was in the music himself, and he was playing the guitar outside, and we've done a few sessions outside, and we both come back in again, the jail, and we do the blanket protest together, and Bobby wrote songs like the ones we have on the tape, Majanella, Sad Song for Susan, Back Home in Derry, and Michael Haddon. We used to sing all these songs on the blanket, with no music whatsoever. You had this little beat, the drum, some fella behind the door, beating the back of the door to try and get a beat, and all the lads joined in, you go on, you hand, and but a day, they've sat down and put music behind a lot of these songs, and it's been a great pleasure for me to hear the people that are part of this here, to sit down and put music behind all these songs. It's songs that we've all sung before in a blanket, and has a lot of meaning to it, and I'm sure if Bobby was here today, it's stuck in the middle here. They're happiness here, banging away, singing this and try the other.
What about the new boy?
Well, it's been myself, me being a
Johnny come lately?
Johnny come lately.
The youngster, the child.
What's his
He's having,
The only thing I would say was that I was out at the time of the hunger strike. I was at the marches and I was at a lot of the funerals and stuff like that. Little did I know then that the sacrifices that were being made in here were going to benefit me, a few years later. And I feel I've got to know the like of Bobby through some of the songs that he wrote, the songs that we have done, for the tape there. And especially the song "That Time Has Come." When I was singing it, I thought back to the families, the hunger strikers during the funerals when they've been buried. That's one of the things that's still in my head. Like before something and after something, I was seeing them on the dead, their sons or their husbands, and that was buried. But I'm glad I took part in it. One of the first recordings, or the first music recording in the blast. It always kept me a pint of
Make
beer.
sure you just buy one.
What would you pick?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot said here about memories coming back, and there's no question about it. The whole project that we got into when you asked me to do it in the first place, Lorna, that I was a wee bit apprehensive because of using inferior quality equipment and that we weren't sure of getting a good projection of voices and good music or getting a good pickup. I was worried about the quality of it because I do believe that it's a very, very important project, and I think that first and foremost, I think it's a tribute to the progress that we've made in here since the hunger strikes. That we can put these things together, and that we are able, through a wee bit of ingenuity and a wee bit of resourcefulness and plenty of enthusiasm, to come together and do this sort of a thing. I think it's also, I would like it to be seen as a fitting tribute to the hunger strikers themselves, to all the hunger strikers, because the sacrifice that was made here was phenomenal, and I think that ourselves particularly, and I don't mean just a small group of people here, I mean the prisoners probably are the ones who were most deeply touched by, outside of the families of course, by the sacrifice that was made. Snow just mentioned about how the sacrifice and the fact that he was outside. I would also like to say also, I think Phelim's poem about the woman in struggle, I think also it's a fitting tribute that we have identified women's part in the struggle. I think it's a very important part, but we don't, not particularly us, but people in general don't give a lot of credibility to, they don't give a lot of notice to, and I think that the poem in itself brings out that whole aspect. For me, it's been an experience, and it's something that I would like to have done as professionally as possible, and there are a lot of memories about it. The only thing I'd say is that I've taken great strength from the sacrifices in 1981, and any time that anybody gets depressed or anybody feels down, they don't know where to go, how to go forward or where to go, but all we have to do is sit and reflect on the challenge that was taken up by the hunger strikers in 1981, and we can move forward from there. Maybe yourself.
There's also one video, isn't it?
You only never want to drink before the session.
Follow butter.
Well, here is a combination of all those things, but particularly that there, I would like to see it as a tribute. Not only because a lot of original material and was written by Bobby and others in the blogs, but particularly for those people outside, for the families, and for those who have done so much for us, because we're nothing without them and their support. And too often, not only are they physically assaulted, but verbally abused by your media, politicians, church leaders and such like. And there's a lot to be proud of. We have a lot to be proud of with them. There's a lot of creativity in the blogs out there. And that what we're going to do is encourage it. Hopefully this tape will be some sort of encouragement to show what we can do. Basically it. Just has been very enjoyable doing the whole thing. A lot of work.
My background is alright.
I'm on a roach.
Scrooge never heard as much practicing for concerts all the way.
I know, I reckon they think there's a big do coming up. I'm probably looking for a gargle.
We're sitting stuck in a cell, 5 and everybody's out there.
You need a grease out there.
5 of us?
Yeah, well, that's some born out
Seems
here
going
with
to
you.
visit.
Your visit up yet? No chance of your
That's
visit.
5 of us.
We've got some
Born
more
here.
here.
That's it.